motion to, through the agenda? All in favor? All in favor? Unanimous. Let me also, the mayor's not here tonight. He's sick, and also Councilman Head is out of town, so they will not be here tonight. So you see what you get up here tonight. Brings us to presentations. New business. Now, the photography, Ray Evans and Christy, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you'll come on up and tell us a little bit about your business. I would go ahead and announce what your business is, but I'm not real sure I can tell us the name of your business.
It's Nemesis Studio.
Nemesis?
Nemesis.
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 Okay, great. And I couldn't, that's a, did many people get that when,
Sometimes.
sometimes?
It's the derivative of mnemonic.
Okay.
So Nemesis was the Titan goddess over time and memory, which is what we capture.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, tell us what you guys do.
Well, we specialize in glamour and magazine style portraiture such as Vogue or Vanity Fair. We initially opened in March of 2018, but we have recently restructured. We have new signage coming in. We have expanded to offering one-on-one mentoring sessions as well as a classroom setting for photography. We have also started a networking group for local businesses and entrepreneurs called the Indian Trail Networking Group. And so that is going to be local resources for any other entrepreneurs in the area if they need guidance in marketing or insurance or a CPA or education.
Very good. Where are you located?
We are located at 133 Indian Trail Road.
We're right across from John Case.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Now, and if anybody has any questions, do you do like senior pictures or and stuff? Oh, you
Yes,
got it.
there was the one in hand here.
Sure.
Yeah, we do personal branding as well as glamour portraiture. So it's really an experience for the everyday woman. We like to have them come in, we do their hair and makeup professionally. And we stylize a photo shoot. We help style their wardrobe for them. We also have a wardrobe for selection.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, do you go on site and do things also, or do you?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. And how long have you been there now? I know you're married,
March of 2018.
but since 2018?
We recently restructured our entire business model
Yeah.
to incorporate. So the new name change is currently Nemesis Photography Studio. It is now going to be Nemesis Photography and Education Studio.
Very good. Anybody have any questions?
Did you bring some cards?
Yes,
Here's
ma'am.
a couple of
Now, who's the photographer?
We both are.
You both, all right. Just, I find something interesting. You might get I live in Bonterra, and there's a guy that lives in Bonterra that, he's a photographer, and, you might know him, but he takes pictures of baseball players and baseball stadiums, and he's paid by baseball card companies all over the country. But he's also the, photographer of the Carolina Hurricanes. And, last night, I'm a big hockey fan, and I see he's out on the ice when they're playing the Washington Capitals last night. And at about every game, I see him out on the ice taking pictures. And if he's listening, he's never asked me to go to a game. And I've thrown enough hints at him to say, as big a fan as I am, I'd love to go see him play sometime. But no, and they're still in it. If anybody's a hockey fan, they got Game 7 tomorrow night. But anyway. Thank y'all for coming. We have a presentation, we have a plaque for you. Welcome you to the town. And thank you for choosing Indian Trail. If you'd like to step on up and I did. Oh, you want to put that? Normally the mayor does this. That's a nice, I like that plaque. I'll show you. Show the plaque, and that's the business. Thank you. Congratulations here. Stoppers. Someone here with Crime Stoppers? Okay, Mayor's gonna cover it, so we'll table it for another day. That brings us to public comments. It brings us to public comments. Thank you for your interest in participating in the public comments portion of today's regular meeting of the Indian Trail Town Council. Please be aware that these meetings are recorded and can be heard by anyone through the internet. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. You may not give your 3 minutes to another speaker to increase that person's allotted time. Comments are to be directed to the entire council as a whole and not individuals. Citizens will be expected to be civil in their language and presentation and act within the reasonable standards of courtesy. We ask that the audience as well as the speakers to maintain order and decorum in your conduct throughout the public comment period. That being said, you may not engage in slander, name-calling, personal attacks, or threatening or otherwise aggressive speech or behavior that I or council reasonable believe would immediately result in disruption of this meeting. Finally, we ask you a simple favor. If you have a grievance, concern, or complaint relating to a specific town employee, we respectfully request that prior to airing that grievance here during public comments, you first contact the town manager, the town attorney, or one of the council with your concern. We respect your right to be heard, and we ask you to respect the town's employees' right to a fair hearing on your grievance. First person up is Lee Cohn. Lee?
Good evening. My name's Leah Kroom, and I live at 205 Allison Drive, and I represent the residents of Allison Drive to express our concern for the Harper's Run subdivision that is going to be, I believe, voted on tonight for the rezoning. I attended the planning board meeting to also express my concern about this community, and so I'm here again tonight. My reasons for not wanting this townhome community include traffic, stormwater runoff, and quality of life. Each time I visit the town's website to research these meetings, I learn about another townhome community that wants to come to the town. In addition to Harper's Run, which is proposed to have 116 townhomes, within 3 miles, we have 15 additional townhomes coming to Park Meadows on Old Monroe Road. And then I saw earlier tonight there was a meeting about Village at Potter, which is proposed to have 65 townhomes. And again, those are within 3 miles of each other. The Potters Road, Chestnut Lane, Old Monroe Road area is already congested enough any time of the day. And I know everybody says the super street is going to fix that, but at the planning meeting it was brought up, what are we going to do about until the super street is finished? And also these communities being constructed at the same time as the super street, just going to make it just a crazier area than it already is. One of the residents at the planning meeting brought up a point that the Harper's Run entrance and exit is at a dangerous area of Chestnut Lane where visibility is not very good to the right or the left, and people slide down that stretch of road. So I just think that the town needs to slow down and allow our roads in that area to catch up with all these townhome communities. This area already causes some stormwater runoff to come out of the woods into our ditch and overflows the ditch and beats against the neighbor's home. And I know MI has said that the construction will make it better and no worse, but that is a concern I'd like to express. The residents of Allison Drive enjoy our quiet little neighborhood once we finally get back there through the Old Monroe mess, and so we do not want 116 townhomes in our backyard taking away this privacy. Thank you.
That wraps up our public comments. Any council feedback? It closes out public comments and brings us to the law enforcement update. Mr. Chase?
Good evening, everybody. So real quick, the sun's shining outside. I'm going to be about a minute. But in all seriousness, I've given you out, I passed out some stats on our March activities around town. Most of my time I want to spend just giving a shout out to Tiffany Hill, who some of you might have seen on Facebook. She is our SRO at Porter Ridge Elementary. And Tiffany actually is what we deem to be a lifesaver. Anytime we get a first responder that gets involved in an incident to where they actually save somebody's life, and we like to give them a pat up on the back and an attaboy, because that's why we all got into this in the first place. Too much of our day is usually with the mundane, my mailbox got ran over, or somebody took my Christmas decorations. But the reason why we get into this is exactly what Tiffany got herself into a couple of weeks ago over at Porter Ridge Elementary. She happened to be out there in the hallway and saw a teacher with a child that was violently coughing, and they got the child to the up to the front office lobby area and the nurses area. But on the way up there, the child ended up stopping coughing, fell out onto a floor and began to struggle breathing, and Tiffany was able to get the Heimlich maneuver, got a piece of food out of the child's throat that was stuck in there, and the child was able to start breathing back and is doing great. But we just wanted to give her a shout out for being in the right place at the right time, because sometimes that doesn't always happen. So as a school resource officer, that's exactly why we want them in the schools, not only to build those relationships and build those bridges, but also take care of our kids. And Porter Ridge, while it's on the outskirts of Indian Trail, it's all of our kids from here in town that are going out there to that school in the Sun Valley. So just wanted to give a shout out to her. The other thing is, and both of these items that I'm covering have been posted on our Facebook page for the Sheriff's Office for anybody that wants to go back and pull them up. But also our crime analyst pulled out some first quarter stats for us from 2019 in comparison to the first quarter of last year. And we saw what we were happy to brag about is a 20.5% decrease in our Part 1 crime stats. Now, Part 1 crime stats are basically things like rape, robbery, murder, aggravated assault, motor vehicle theft, arson. Big ticket crimes are where people would actually call, and would expect that the average person would actually call and report. Part 2 crimes are things like fraud, embezzlement, stolen property, DWI, gambling, narcotics violations, things that might not always get reported if someone were to come into contact with those. But Sheriff was pretty proud of the decrease of 20.5%, so we trying to get that out there, and we'll take advantage of it all day long, especially whenever our next door neighbors up here in Mecklenburg County are not seeing such good fruits of their labor here lately for keeping the crime rate down. So just 2 bragging points and then some stats on the first page. But we've had a lot going on. It's been a busy time for us. Had a couple of community meetings. Also met with the town engineering department, and I met with Chris Mark, our HOA representative, last week. I know you guys have heard a lot from Chris Mark about parking. So we talked over some ideas that they've got. They're going to put together some things. I think the message that we conveyed to them was, you know, the things that you want to work on in your neighborhood are specific to your neighborhood. So rather trying to involve town staff and taking away from bigger projects all over town, we asked them to go create a plan, create a focus list, and then bring that back so that they're bringing something to the table to look at. And we also went ahead, I also went ahead and told them, spoke on your behalf, is that, you know, certainly they're one neighborhood in the entire town, so they need to be prepared to help financially fund some of their options that they want to bring forth. But overall, I can report to you that Deputy Henry, who's been focused on that area for parking to make sure that buses can get through that neighborhood, which was the biggest complaint, that all the town's things that they've done thus far implemented in the parking times and all that stuff are working. We've not had near the crisis over there about getting kids picked up or dropped off. So we're knock on wood, we're not having to do a whole lot of towing and a whole lot of ticket writing, but we are making sure the cars are off the roadway, and that's the end result goal. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.